How's it going, boys? So, it's 8:20 Thursday night. Just wrapped up a bunch of work. I wanted to come on here and talk about my experience with alcohol. Now, before I get into it, I want to make it very clear what this video is not about. This is not me bashing on alcohol. This is not me saying don't drink ever in your life. Be sober, whatever. It's all about what works for you, and everything has a time and place in my eyes, and that includes alcohol. There's a time and place for drinking, and there is a time and place for all of these vices. There's a time and place for sticking to a diet. Everything has its time and place in life. So the point of this video is not to bash on alcohol. It's to share my experience, the things I went through, what I realized after not drinking for 4 months, how it changed my perspective on alcohol and on life. And hopefully you can take value from this and reflect it upon your own life or your own situations that you've been through. So I want to make that very clear. Now, I used to drink a lot in high school. And when I was traveling, when I was a little bit younger, traveling around the world, and I would drink once, twice a week, which is normal in most scenarios. That's considered normal. And I realized that I was making it a habit in my routine. And the thing about habits is that they can either be good or bad. They can either be constructive towards your goals or deconstructive, tearing you down. And when I realized that I was making drinking a habit on a weekly basis, I asked myself the question, what am I escaping from? Why am I letting this bad habit enter my life? And when I asked myself, what am I escaping from? Why am I turning to this substance, to this vice, to take me out of reality temporarily, take me into a place that doesn't exist, just to bring me back in a few hours? What am I really escaping from? And when I asked that question, I realized that I had bigger goals, bigger aspirations than just drinking every single week. Now, some people don't, and that's fine. It's all about what you want to do and what you feel like your purpose is in life. I feel like I have a bigger purpose, and alcohol just takes away from that purpose. I want to help people become the best versions of themselves, and I want to become the strongest man. I want to become wise. I want to become someone that my family looks up to. And that is what, and when I say strongest man, I mean strong spiritually, mentally, physically, in every single aspect. And when I realized that alcohol was tearing me down from reaching my goals of helping others become the healthiest, strongest version of themselves, I realized that it wasn't something that I wanted to make a habit and have in my routine. And it all started with that self-reflection question of, why am I doing this? What am I escaping from? Now, the reason I asked myself that question, so like I said, I would drink a lot in high school, pretty normal, don't regret it at all. But when I started getting a little bit older outside of high school and I was traveling a lot, traveled in Europe for a couple months, I was still doing the drinking. And there were a few scenarios, a few situations that made me really question it. And after one of these scenarios was when I quit for 4 months, which I had never went that long without alcohol since I started drinking when I was probably 16. And what that was there was 3, maybe 4 times where I would get reasonably drunk, and just to paint a picture, my friends, I would be with my friends, we'd be out at a bar, clubbing or a party, whatever it is, and there's always the fights that occur, and I would be one of the ringleaders. I would get so fired up on these random kids, these random people who I don't even know, just because they were screwing with us. And I would start these fights, I would shove kids, I would be super aggressive for no reason. And I was acting off of my emotions and not based off of my principles or beliefs that I have within myself. And when I realized that for me, my problem was alcohol was making me act on my emotions, I questioned everything. I was thinking, how can I be a role model for my family? How can I be a rock? How can my kids look up to me, my future wife, if I cannot control my emotions when I'm under the influence? And it's not about being under the influence. That's not the point. But it was a problem for me specifically when I was under the influence. And there was one scenario where it got so bad. It was like a really bad night, and it was New Year's. And the next day, I woke up. It was like I almost got into a fight. I started a fight with these people, almost got into a fight. And this girl that I was with at the time got like so mad at me, rightfully so, because I was being ridiculous. I was being so aggressive. And that's what made me wake up and think, holy shit, this is not me. Why am I doing these things? And from there, that next day, I remember waking up like it was a dream. It feels like a dream sometimes when you're drunk, and then you wake up and it feels like it all just happened like this. And I was like, what just happened? So I made a pact to not drink the entire year. Now, that didn't end up happening. I went on vacation and all these things, but I didn't drink for 4.5 months because of this situation that really woke me up. And that was the life altering situation that happened for me. And I think every man has those things at some point where whatever it is that you're doing, you have one scenario, something happens, and you rethink everything. And that's what it was for me at the time. So I went 4.5 months sober, and I realized that everything that I wanted to do, everything that I wanted to accomplish, did not need alcohol involved. Now, with that being said, I go on vacation, I'll drink a little bit here and there, big deal. But when it was in my routine, it was destroying me. And that's what these 4 months made me realize, that having it in a routine, planning to go drink all the time, was absolutely destroying me and not help me fulfilling my purpose, and just a distraction to my goals. Not to mention waking up absolutely hungover the next day, wasting the entire next day. And I realized that I needed to take it out of my routine and regain control over myself, over my purpose. And during that time, when I was sober for 4 months, it was the most growth, the most personal development I'd ever made in my life. The most money I made, the best shape of my life, the strongest mind I'd ever created in my life. And I realized that the foundation of that was because I wasn't distracting myself from reality every single week. And now, if you like to go drink every single week, go ahead. I'm just sharing my experience, like I said. And that's what it was for me, was staying busy all the time. I was working 2 jobs, I was doing school, I was working out all the time, sauna, like all these great things. And I realized, looking back, I was reading every single day, doing all these things that were helping me grow as a man and building that foundation for the rest of my life. And that is what made me realize this is just a distraction from the potential that I have. I was so busy, I created so many things to do. I got an extra job, all these things. I created this time that seemingly out of nowhere, just because I wasn't drinking every single week. And it made me so much more productive because I was focused on the end goal and not focused on the end of the week every single week. I wasn't focused on the fun plans I made. I was focused on my purpose. And that's how it really made me grow spiritually. I was reading more books, becoming more in touch with myself, more in touch with my mindset. And, financially, I was working more, meeting more people, getting into the best shape of my life, going to the gym more, getting in the sauna, like all of these things that were helping me become a better person. And to wrap all that up, at the end of it, I went to Europe for 2-3 months, drank probably once a week there, had a good time, came back and realized, hey, that was fun. I went on vacation, drank, whatever, but I need to focus on myself. I need to start developing myself as a man. And then I went another 75 days with no alcohol, with no za, and that was a couple months ago, earlier this year, and that's when I started posting on social media, and that's another time when I made a ton of progress towards my goal. Both of the times I quit alcohol for months at a time, those were the times when I made the most progress towards my vision. And that's what really made me rethink it, is doing this every single week. Is this breaking me down as a person? Is this helping me reach my goals? Is it helping you reach your goals? Ask yourself that question. Why am I doing it? What am I escaping from? Is it helping me? Does it align with my goals? And then you'll truly rethink it. Rethink whatever habits that you have. Now, it's currently February 27th. Let's say, I don't drink for a couple months. Summer rolls around. I'm, going to Hawaii for a week. Am I going to drink? Of course. Of course. I'm going to enjoy life. But it's about what you do on a consistent basis and the habits that you have. That is the message here. Is I learned that drinking as a habit, which is what it is when it's planned every single week or a couple times a month, it is a habit. And I learned that it is a destructive habit, and it wasn't putting me any closer towards my goals. Not to mention all of the scientific reasons why it's terrible. Calories, brain fog, just destroying your body in general. But all those things you can look up on ChatGPT. That's my experience, and that's why it may seem like, if you've looked at my page, that's why it may seem like I'm anti-alcohol. He only likes to do these healthy things. No, I like to enjoy my life and work towards my purpose and become the best version of myself. And drinking every single week is not helping me do that. And if you have a bigger purpose and a bigger vision for yourself, and you have big goals and big aspirations, you need to realize that alcohol is holding you back. Alcohol, za, whatever vice it is holding you back. And the only way to realize that is to cut it out of your routine for 30 days, 60 days, I think even 30 days, cutting it out, seeing how you feel. And I promise you, it will be life-changing. You will change your perspective on whatever vice it is, alcohol, for example, forever, for the rest of your life. And you will make so much progress as a man, developing your mind and your body, that you will never want to go back to having it as a habit. So that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you found some value from this. I hope you can relate to some of the things that I said. And if you want to connect with me on Instagram, shoot me a message. I post all day on there, so I'll link that down below. I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace out. Stay healthy, stay working, and have fun. Peace out, boys.